So I set the stage with just really what are the sort of mechanical drivers of what we're seeing in terms of the rise of kids being born outside of marriage and being raised in one parent households. And basically, all of this has happened despite the decrease in divorce and despite the decrease in birth rates. And this is really important because it's important to figure out, where is this coming from? What's happening? And what's happening very clearly is that fewer adults who are having children together are getting married. The point about the teens is really interesting because teens in the 80s, let's say, the study of single motherhood and its link with poverty, that was all very tightly wound up with teen childbearing, the most disadvantaged moms without a high school degree. And so the fact that teen childbearing has decreased by over 70% since the early 90s, which is really quite stunning and remarkable. And honestly, as somebody who's researched both the causes and consequences of teen childbearing, it's really hard to explain in a statistical sense this really dramatic decline over time. There's lots of reasons for it, but it really, the sort of bottom line is, it looks like teens, not just in the US, but in other high-income countries, are making different decisions for themselves now than in the past. And then this is all related, which is why it's hard to tease out causality, but it's all related to teen girls being much more likely now to graduate high school, to go to college. They have more opportunities. They're just doing better economically and in an education sense. But nonetheless, so teen births are way down. Births to young women in their 20s are way down. Essentially births to everyone under the age of 30 in an aggregate sense are down, right? Our birth rates are down in the US. But just given the shift in childbearing to older women, to more educated women, all of that would have led to the prediction that we would have seen a decrease in the non-marital birth share. Because older women, if you look back in the 80s and early 90s, older women, more educated women, they were much more likely to be married. But so if you held everything constant and just looked at the changing composition of mothers, saw that they were older, they were more educated, you would have said, oh, well, single motherhood is going to decline. And so it's really quite striking that single motherhood shares of kids living in single mother households has actually increased, or at least not fallen by as much as we would have expected. It's really because all else was not held constant. And so even among moms with a high school degree, the share of them whose births are outside of marriage has doubled in this 40-year period. So now it's like 52% of births to moms with a high school degree are outside of marriage. So that's really the story here. Again, it's, people's minds go to sort of whatever preconceived notions they have. This isn't about an increase in divorce. It's not about all of these unintended pregnancies among teen girls or women who've dropped out of high school. It's really now just a different phenomenon where having kids outside of marriage has become quite commonplace for a fairly wide swath of the population.